Hello, everyone. I'm Julie Harker with Brownfield Ag News, and with me today is National FFA Central Region Vice President Paxton Dahmer from Nevada, Missouri, to talk to us about all the activities going on for National FFA Week. Welcome, and thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You bet. So, you're involved in all the exciting stuff that's going on. Tell us what is going on and why it's so important for people to know what's happening with FFA during this special week.
Yes. So starting tomorrow, February 20th, through the February 27th, we are having our National FFA Week. So across the nation, our over 760,113 members to be exact, are celebrating our organization as well as our 8 million plus alumni. So we're very proud of the work that our organization is doing. And this week will provide us a platform to elevate some of our programs and talk about the real difference that our organization makes in the lives of students across our nation. For example, one of the programs we'll be doing is our Grants for Growing program through Tractor Supply Company. So Tractor Supply Company, any of our local sites with Tractor Supply Company, for lack of better words. You can go in and you can donate, and you'll get a paper emblem. And you can also do this digitally online, but you can write why you support FFA. And those will go to Grants for Growing programs. We'll have our National Days of Service going on all week, where chapters across the nation can be working, in the field, rolling up their sleeves, getting their hands dirty, and serving communities across our nation. We'll be having various social media drives and campaigns. And on Thursday is actually Give FFA Day, where we'll have a giving campaign across the nation, where we'll encourage alumni, supporters, current members, whatever that might look like, to make a contribution to the organization to continue supporting our programming on the nationwide level as well. And there's actually a program through the Give FFA Day where you can make a donation that goes specifically back to your state. So for instance, as a Missourian, I could make a donation that is designated towards Missouri FFA Association, to where those proceeds, 100% of those would go back to our state level associations as well.
Well, that's super. And speaking of Missouri, are you aware of what some of the things that are happening in the state?
Yeah, I speak to my own chapter. When I was a member of the Nevada FFA chapter, I guess I still am a member, but when I was a high school member of the Nevada FFA chapter, we had a lot of unique opportunities to really engage with the community. So we had a supporters luncheon every Wednesday during National FFA Week, where we would bring in supporters from across the community and serve them a meal and just have a conversation with them about what FFA is doing in our lives, as well as what FFA might have done in their lives if they were a past member, or anyone they might know that was a past member. We also had events, across Missouri. They have events where people can get their chapter and green hand degrees if they've completed the requirements for those. I suspect things might look a little bit differently in our state this year, given COVID and the progress of the virus. But with that, FFA members are still going to be out there engaging with their communities in any way that they can, in finding ways to, spread the positive messages of our programming, whether that be in person or over Zoom, or even by posting on social media.
Yeah, you brought up the pivoting that has had to take place because of the pandemic, which is still ongoing. We're in the throes of it, but we've got a vaccine now. You became the vice president for the Central Region back in October. So, what has it been like? And what sort of, do you think any quality has been lost in your interactions, or do you think that you guys are right on target?
Right. So, things do look differently. Typically, in a normal year, right after national convention, national officers dig right in. They stay in Indianapolis and they get to work, and they finish school up right then and there. I had the chance to round out my semester of school at the University of Missouri last fall, and so that was a unique opportunity because we also have a robust onboarding process with training and getting things ready and setting the scene for the year. And so we did that remotely, and we didn't actually move to Indianapolis until January this year. So on January 6th, my teammates and I relocated, and we're now living in Indianapolis, working day in and day out of the National FFA Center here in Indianapolis, which is where I am right now. And so here at the center, we went through our training process, and now we're working, daily with members across the nation, finding ways to serve them. And so while things have pivoted, we do look different right now, working in a virtual platform. We're actually able to reach more members. So 2 weeks ago, we had our chapter experience week, where we got the chance to actually get out in the field and practice these workshops and keynotes that we've worked so hard to develop. And in that week, we had the opportunity as a team to reach 6 different states. And we all, across the team, we gave about 100 different interactions that week across 6 states. Usually that's one state. And so, we're reaching more members in that way. Next week, for instance, with National FFA Week, I'll have the opportunity all week, every day, all day, working with chapter members directly with those chapters, which is so neat because that's not a usual circumstance. And we're going to have the opportunity to reach over 30 state associations. We'll be doing over 100 interactions that week with members in where they're comfortable. We're entering their schools or their homes through this virtual platform, and we're still carrying out our similar programming. We're just doing it in a different way. And so while our approach has changed with COVID, our mission has not. We're still working to, develop that next generation of leaders that are going to change the world, and we're doing that just in different ways, but we're still doing the same programming.
Well, reaching more members sounds like a really cool silver lining of this whole situation. And just to clarify, this video might not run until next week. So if you guys are listening or watching out there, it is National FFA week, the week, as he said, of the 22nd through the 26th. So, wanted to ask you too, you have just, as a national officer, wrapped up a series that had to do with directly working with folks in DC, your virtual DC experience. You had contact with White House officials and got to talk about the issues that are extremely important to FFA. So, talk to me about that. And if you would, please give us an update.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm kind of a policy nerd. And so this week was awesome for me to get the chance to actually have those conversations. But we were meeting with congressmen and women, we were meeting with senators, and we even, yes, as you mentioned, had the opportunity to sit down with some White House officials as well as some people at the United States Department of Agriculture and have some really great, fruitful conversations about rural policy and rural development and how that relates back to our organization. For instance, just this afternoon, we met with the chair of the House Caucus on Career and Technical Education. And so in that conversation, we focused on employability skills and how our members are equipped with the skills needed to go out into a trade or even into a regular career as well and roll up their sleeves, get their hands dirty and create real work that changes the way agriculture looks. And so that was a fruitful conversation. We met with a lot of people on the topics of rural broadband expansion. Right now, students are connecting to school in a remote format across the nation. And this is the first time that that's ever been done. And so we're finding that there are flaws in the rural broadband system. And this is something as a Missourian I'm very proud of because we've been addressing this for quite some time, as you know, Ms. Harker. And so, we had those conversations on how can we expand the broadband infrastructure across the United States to reach more rural areas so that rural students have the same ability to succeed in virtual school and interactions in a virtual setting, as this might be something that we stick with for a while. And then we talked about teacher retention and how we can continue to retain teachers in ag education so that our students have a qualified teacher at the reins of their chapter, working to make sure that they have what it takes to be successful as they transition out of high school and into the workforce or into a trade or into a community college or a 4-year degree, whatever that might look like. But we want to make sure that there's a qualified teacher at the reins of the chapters so that they can work to develop their skills as effectively as possible.
Did you feel that you were able to really connect with some of these folks and that they are taking you seriously and really want to work on these issues?
Yeah, I did. I was very surprised at the fact that DC, it's a really powerful city. It's a really large city, but there are so many connections that we have to, our elected officials. The FFA pool of people that are past FFA members, past state officers, past national officers is huge out there. And so as we were connecting, it turned into a spider web of connections because, we might know the same people or we might know each other or we might believe the same things or have the same passions. And in those conversations, those things come up. Our elected officials are real people as well. And so, we owe it to ourselves to stand up for what we believe in, stand up for our values, stand up for rural America, and have those conversations with our elected officials. And so, honestly, I would encourage anyone and everyone to make the phone call out there. When you call your representative's office or your senator's office, just ask for the LA that handles agriculture or education issues and have those conversations. They want to know what their constituents think. They want to be able to represent them to the best of their ability. And we have that unique opportunity as Americans to have our voice heard. And so I would encourage everyone to do that.
Awesome. What is the hashtag of the week?
The hashtag, so there's National FFA Week. There's also FFA 2021. And so if you keep those hashtags, we'll be following them as a national officer team. And then for Give FFA Day, we have our own hashtag, which is just hashtag Give FFA Day. Pretty plain and simple, but we'll be following those, reposting as often as possible, and be sure to tag us in those as well so that we can get those shared in as many platforms as possible.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. Paxton Dahmer, Central Region Vice President of National FFA.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
You are so welcome. I'm Julie Harker on Brownfield.